Well, coming up on today's show, Toyota's CEO says they're losing customers to Tesla, but how many? We'll find out. The Audi e-tron has been tested and it's winning a Quietness award. Plus, have you heard of the Aspark owl? I'll give you details of why they're targeting the Nürburgring record. Those stories and more coming up today. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, middle of the week, Wednesday, 30th of January. My name is Martyn Lee, and I've been through all the EV stories I can find today to pick out the good ones. And boy, oh boy, there's a lot. Let's crack on and thank our friends at myev.com for helping make this show. They launched last year, and if you haven't checked them out recently, it's well worth having a look at myev.com if you are looking to get into the EV market, because they're adding new cars all the time. Totally free marketplace for not only buying but selling and learning about EVs as well. Good news that high-power chargers are coming back online. First of all, Fastned tweeted, and I quote, "Good news, we switched on the CCS outlets of our 175 kilowatt chargers again. Tests by Huber and Suna confirm that the liquid-cooled cables meet all safety standards. We'll remove the tape and stickers from the cables today. If you're at a station that still has tape around the CCS outlet, feel free to give us a call if you want to help removing it." Now, Electrify America I can't find a statement from them, but I've been sent some Twitter notes from various people saying Electrify America have turned theirs on again, and there is indeed a press release from the cable supplier. I won't get into that today, but the good news is that little pause they had to have for a day has now been lifted. So Tesla's earnings call is coming soon, depending on when you listen to this podcast. The majority, 75% of people probably listen to this podcast within 48 hours of it being published. But then it's got kind of a long tail. So I never know how big to go on super topical news, but the earnings call is very soon. CNBC reporting that the Q4 2018 earnings call, Elon Musk saying that preliminary results show the company made a profit on an unadjusted basis in Q4, less than previous months though, previous quarters. In the first quarter, higher priced Model 3s heading to Europe and Asia will allow us, says Elon, with great difficulty, effortness and some luck to target a tiny profit, he said in a company update. So we'll keep an eye on that, and when we get the full earnings call, of course, we'll bring you all of the analysis that matters from those that really do know every bit of how Tesla works far better than I do. So I mentioned the Aspark Owl at the top of the show. The Aspark Owl electric hypercar had its debut at the 2017 Frankfurt Motor Show. Development is underway on the Japanese-built machine. The company now says that a run at the Nürburgring record could be under consideration, according to Chris Bruce, editor, Motor1.com. The Aspark Owl performances are allowing us to aim for the Nürburgring record, they say. They were telling Top Gear that Aspark's testing already shows the Owl can do 0 to 60, that's 100 Ks, in 1.9 seconds. The official specs show the hypercar can do 174 miles an hour, that's 280 kilometres per hour. The price is the sticking point, perhaps, one that you might not be able to stretch to. 3.1 million euros. That's $3.5 million. Boy, you better hit target to spend the paycheck, the bonus on that. Production is only going to be 50 units. Imagine calling up to get an insurance quotes on that. It's going to be a very rare machine. First one's coming in 2020. A full link to the Motor One article in the show notes. Now, the Swedish car maker NEVS, N-E-V-S, and Koenigsegg are forming a new partnership to enable the development of parallel vehicle models in higher volumes, with the emphasis on electrification and strengthening their growth in the hypercar segment. Now, NEVS came from the ashes of Saab all those years ago. Koenigsegg, well, that was founded in 1994 by Christian von Koenigsegg, with the mission of making the ultimate perfect sports car. Well, NEVS is making a capital injection, I believe is what the finance people say, of 150 million euros, taking a 20% minority stake in Koenigsegg. Additionally, they're forming a joint venture to expand into new market segments, where NEVS is contributing $150 million in starting capital for a new stake, and Koenigsegg getting 35% of this new entity by adding in the intellectual property. That's their stake that they're bringing, the IP, and the tech licenses, and the product design. That's what they're bringing to the party. Alongside NEV's capacity for production in Trollhättan and China, NEV's, through its majority owner Evergrande, has a wide distribution platform and channels through ownership in one of China's biggest car retailers. Now, last week, Evergrande announced the acquisition of almost 60% of the automobile battery maker Shanghai Senat, or CENAT, for $156 million. They are spending some money at the moment, and all of it aimed at electrification. Little update for you on some of those names that maybe aren't in the top tier of EV names that you hear about day in, day out, but I think you'd like to know about them, especially with a name like Koenigsegg, which have been making these crazy hypercars for years now and signalling a move into greater electrification. And greater numbers as well, by the way. Well, let's move on to Mitsubishi, maker of plug-in hybrid SUVs. And there are some very, very good Mitsubishi Outlander drivers out there that when they plug into a 50 kilowatt rapid charger, leave a little note to say, if you need me, here's my number. There's a few that don't. They are the bane of some people's lives. They turn up because plug-in hybrid cars not only have a smaller battery, but some of them can only charge at things like 3 kilowatts, and yet they still, because they haven't got their own cable, because the cable doesn't come with the car, hybrid owners plug into tethered rapid chargers and then bugger off for half a day. That is the minority, I must say, of drivers hogging chargers. But now Mitsubishi are announcing a new car at the Geneva Motor Show on March the 5th. Their new SUV touring concept called Engelberg is going to be revealed, really. According to Mark Kane at InsideEVs.com, the short note today says it's going to bring a few things. They say more SUV, more EV, more technology, and more style. No more detail than that, just more. Highly probable that the new concept is actually a plug-in hybrid rather than a full electric. The current Mitsubishi Outlander, a little bit long in the tooth, had a refresh recently, but still they could do with something new and sexy to get buyers really interested in Mitsubishi as a hybrid brand. I don't think they're going to be a full electric brand, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. So, given the success of the Outlander, no surprise they're trying to cash in on the increasing trend of electrification. It's unclear, say Top Gear, it's unclear whether it'll be plug-in hybrid or fully electric. We'll have to wait until the 5th of March to find out. When more technical details will be announced, I'm personally pinning my colours to the mast and saying it's going to be more hybrid than full EV. I'll put a link to Inside EVs in the show notes if you are interested. Hey, here's an interesting trend that continues. Liberty Global, the owners of Virgin Media, an ISP, cable provider, if you like, my broadband is with Virgin Business. They are looking at other uses for their broadband cabinets, the street-side boxes that link the internet to their wider hubs, I suppose, using the infrastructure of their Virgin Media business to put in electric vehicle charging stations. They have all this street furniture around. Well, Liberty hopes to have up to 6 trial charging points by mid-April. Also, note that in Belgium, through Telenet network, they're going to be doing tests. Last year, Deutsche Telekom revealed plans to turn 12,000 street cabinets into charging points. Link to Engadget in the show notes. Audi e-trons are gradually getting into dealers. Maybe not in America, but there are plenty of places in Europe. Audi e-trons are just starting to get in the hands of people. You can turn up to many European dealers now. I don't think many in the UK, but correct me if I'm wrong. With your child seat or stroller and see if it'll fit in the car, see if you want to buy one. Inside EVs have been keeping an eye on Bjorn Nyland's e-tron review videos. Audi's e-tron turns out to be the quietest EV he's ever tested. He has the little decibel meter, averaging just 63 decibels. The silence, even at really high speeds, was also indicated by an Autogefühl review. It said it's the best they've ever seen, better than the best Tesla they've tested. The Audi e-tron, 2 to 3 decibels below the Model X and the Jaguar I-Pace. And I'm not a huge expert on things like how it works, the sort of scientific way of decibels, but it only takes a few decibels to be quite a noticeable change to the ear. I'm not surprised, by the way, that these German manufacturers are coming in late to the party, but with great build quality, and noise will be something that they have really focused on. Vibration and noise and soundproofing and all those kind of things. This is a great bit of news from IKEA. In 2018, the parent company of IKEA, Inca Group, made a bold pledge that by 2025, the company will deliver every item they sell pure electric delivery vehicles. And it started with just 5 cities: New York, LA, Paris, Amsterdam and Shanghai by next year. Well, according to Fast Company, as of January 23rd, they've hit the target in the first city, Shanghai. In Shanghai, all IKEA deliveries now being done by pure electric vehicle. In the inner city of Shanghai, all EV deliveries now. I couldn't find out for the life of me what vehicles they're using. I mean, it's not important, is it? I was just going to have a little geek out on what trucks or vans or delivery methods they were using, but that's great news. Back to the high-performance stuff then, and 2 names legendary for high performance, Lotus and Williams. And the sports car maker Lotus and Williams Advanced Engineering have announced a new partnership for the 2 companies to share research and development in advanced propulsion. That's what they call it, advanced propulsion. In other words, batteries and motors. Anthony Carr at Motor1.com says that the Norfolk-based Lotus is developing a hybrid hypercar. It's codenamed Omega. And Lotus is leading the development to ensure the car carries the brand's DNA and meets its criteria. Lotus famous for lightness, by the way. Adding lightness, I think was the phrase, wasn't it? Williams is going to contribute all of their technical expertise. Of course, they were closely involved in Formula E for the first few seasons of that technology in the current gen Formula E had gone to McLaren, but Williams very experienced in batteries and motors. That's what they're going to bring to it. Now, the Omega hypercar is said to have 2 electric motors, all-wheel drive, advanced battery technology with 250 miles of range. Between charges, fast charging, of course, all of this stuff will be included in any future hypercar, but Lotus all about being light. The one thing lithium-ion batteries don't have going for them is lightness. So it'll be interesting to see what they go in terms of how big the battery is, or even what technology they use. Right, finally, you know, I love a good high mileage EV. If you ever spot any of these online or the internet, forward them on to me, because I have a real soft spot for high milers. Tesloop is the company that runs as a shuttle service, a limousine service, that I think they would rather me call it, up and down California. Their Model X, named Duxie, just hit 350,000 miles in a Model X. The founder of Tesloop, Hayden Sonad, took to YouTube, made a video to share the lessons learned on this impressive milestone. Battery deg is the thing I looked for. Battery degradation is really important to Tesloop's vehicles, because they not only do constant mileage, their vehicles, some of them almost 24 hours a day being used, but they always supercharge. There's no slow charging, because time is money. So they're supercharging between to get the batteries topped up between their runs. Now, according to Carl at Kling Technica, after putting 350,000 miles on this Model X, Tesloop saw just 13% degradation in battery capacity compared to the new range. That translates to a range of 215 miles or 346 kilometres at a 95% charge today, compared to 247 miles or 398 kilometres at 95% when it was first brand new. How many piston cars can do 350,000 miles? I was about to say and see 13% drop off, but actually I'll end the sentence there. How many piston engines will do 350,000 miles? Yeah, I thought so, not many. And how many that can make it? Only see very low double-digit performance drop from when they first left the factory. Holy moly, EVs are going to change so much. I'm so excited when people start to realise this and they go like, what, I can do 500,000 miles in my car? Yeah, I mean, the other bits will wear out before the battery and the motor does. Look at the time. I've got time for one more story. This is Stephen at Inside EVs picking up on this one. According to Automotive News, Toyota's defection rate is 9%. So let me try and get this story straight and explain it in a way, because I had to read it a couple of times to fully understand. Toyota have a very loyal customer base, but their defection rate of people who were previously loyal but now no longer buy Toyotas is 9%. And the CEO of Toyota Motor North America, Jim Lentz, just admitted that half of their previous loyal customers went to Tesla. So, although they don't actually crunch the numbers in this article, as far as I understand it, if you've got a 9% defection rate from your brand of people who previously loved Toyota but no longer do, and half of them are going to Tesla, that'd be 4.5% of your customers, right? Is that right? Have gone to Tesla. Wow. Nonetheless, according to a report by Tesla themselves, the Prius tops the list of cars that are traded in by Model 3 buyers. Interesting to see what future holds for Toyota. Of course, the Japanese government are very keen on their car makers, and they'll be leaning really heavily on Nissan, Toyota, Honda to go fuel cell. That's their ideological belief in fuel. And that's not at car company level, that's higher, right? They think fuel cells are the answer. But then again, you filter it down to company level. And again, Toyota, Honda, even Nissan are increasingly making, the battery electric leaders with the Leaf are increasingly making good noises about fuel cell vehicles. Plenty of divided opinion online about fuel cells and hydrogen, but particularly Toyota are the cheerleaders for it. What's going to be their future? Will they come with more pure battery electric vehicles? Will they stick with hybrids? And if you're not aware, by the way, here in the UK, they have a really heavy advertising campaign saying that Toyota is the company that will sell you a self-charging hybrid, which plenty of people, including myself, have an issue with that phrasing because the mainstream see that and go, great, I haven't got to plug in. Yeah. But you do have to burn things. You have to burn things that make noxious gases. And I'm not sure many of the senior leaders of Toyota would be like to be locked in a sealed room with one of their self-charging hybrids ticking away for 24 hours. We'll see who comes out of that garage at the end of it. Yeah. I know I'm being slightly dramatic, but seriously. Come on, don't call it a self-charging hybrid, don't get me started. Let's move on to our question of the week. And thanks to myev.com, they've set us a question of the week. Keep your comments coming in. It's a really busy one this week. I've captured your imagination. What type of new car announcement does the most for EV publicity? Not specific cars, but what segment, what type of announcement really moves the needle on the PR gauge? Is it hypercars? Is it trucks? Is it low-cost family wagons? Is it the everyman's car? Let me know what you think is best for spreading the word about EVs. Email me. My address is hello@evnewsdaily.com. If you want to use the comments, you can. YouTube, Facebook, myev.com. There are 178 patrons of the show. Thank you very much for your continued support. If you are listening to this on the day it's published, the 30th, and you, for whatever reason you want to stop your support, or you've supported enough, or you've come to the end of, financially, you need to take a break. I think they do their billing cycle on the 1st. So if you need to stop today, reminder, do it today. If you want to carry on, that would be amazing. But I thought I must remember before the 1st of the month to tell you in case it ever crosses your mind. And absolutely, I never mind if someone says, hey, I want to support you at the beginning or not now, whatever. I totally understand. If you want to join the gang, I'd love to read your name out. And thank you for supporting the show. If you want to find out what it's all about, patreon.com is patreon.com/evnewsdaily. Thank you to our premium partners, Phil Roberts at Electric Future, ef.energy, who sent me some good news about a future car purchase that he's making. I won't share any more. Still very excited for him. Hello to Paul Hussey and his company electricmotoring.net in the Chicago area for your Tesla hires. If you're flying in or maybe on holiday, check out electricmotoring.net. And hi to Brad Crosby, our third and final premium partner. Well, there are 372 episodes online for free. We're over the year now online, wherever you get your podcasts from. Sign up for new ones, and then you can get it first and free and automatically if you hit the subscribe button. And if you can do one thing for me, and it's not the financial support, by the way, if you can do one thing for me, share the podcast with someone you know, online, on a forum, on your Facebook or Twitter, in person with someone who is EV curious. Spreading the word makes me so happy, and it's what I'm all about. In the meantime, catch up on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Do have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow.